Developing this morning, a possible major breakthrough in the youth vaping epidemic that parents, you're going to want to hear. More than 360 people have been hospitalized, with 27 of those cases happening right here in Minnesota. And in other states, 2 people have even died. Kaya Edwards joins us from the newsroom with what could be causing so many people to get sick. This could be a great breakthrough, Kaya.
Well, Chris, as you know, vaping involves smoking a liquid. It's either an e-cig or the liquid contains THC. Well, now health officials say they're finding vitamin E in some of the ones with THC, and that could be to blame in at least some of the illnesses. This information is coming from New York, where 34 people have gotten sick. Health officials there say they found vitamin E acetate in extremely high levels in almost all of the liquid THC samples they tested and which patients had been using. Vitamin E is usually harmless when taken as a pill or when used on skin, but now they're investigating its impact when inhaled because of its oil-like properties.
It all depends on what is inside of the liquid that is going in. So the oil has other chemicals, flavorings that is contained within the oil that then can coat the surfaces of the lungs and cause these inflammatory changes.
As for Minnesota, the health department says all of the 27 confirmed cases here have involved THC vaping products. However, they are still in the process of analyzing what exactly is in those products. Chris?
All right, thanks for that update, Kaya.